Let's see. David Copper TV specials, maybe that's it. Well, it's in here somewhere. Okay, this is something, but let's see, this is floating over the Grand Canyon. Floating over the Grand Canyon, that's already been tackled. I'm trying to find... I assumed there was mechanical feet, like the Niagara Falls stunt, for that 50-pound spike thing. Giraffe has a mirror for the vanishing neck on the giraffe. But that's not what I want, though. I just hit search and it won't search. Where is it? Greatest escapes. I guess I'll do it that way, even though it's not, well, there's our thing, but I want to do, that's fire passion. I'm trying to find, I guess I can do this one.
Locked inside a safe, they've got chains around it, the safe's inside a building, and the building is going to explode, actually implode. I had 2.5 minutes to get from the building to the platform with the exit. This is really unique because it wasn't just my life in there. There were 12 other people inside the building. Not only are you going to die if something goes wrong, they could die too. So when you see them running out of the building very fast, they knew. It was important that the viewers felt like they were there. So we did one long camera shot. We sent amazing camera operators who does all the first aid, Larry McConaughey, and him and his brother would run out of the building and shoot it without a cut. Make it one continuous move. The moment I went to the safe, getting out of the building, going from one camera frame to another, holding the building in frame, watching the building explode, and finally made my escape. Every escape has some sort of meaning. A lot of them you can do again, unless you die. But it's not true of the film. It's a one-shot deal. So the risk of failure is greater, and it makes it a lot more safe. Watch this guy with a lock on his face. It's about 6 inches
either the guy in the white helmet that goes down there last switches with Copperfield behind that pole, and the camera zooms out so you can't make out the face. And a lot of people would say, well, it could be Copperfield, but Copperfield was slimmer then, even though he's more bulky now. He's still muscle bound, but he's put on some weight. Well, he could have a suit to make him bulky and still look like that guy. And they switch places behind that thing, and he comes down, and everybody goes to stage left, and he goes to stage right, like he's changing from Clark Kent to Superman to get ready to come up through the steel platform that was empty. And then by the time they set everything up, they put the mirror, a roller shade mirror, or a glass that bends light around an object. Guy Kramer's bending light and visibility, and nanobots, metamaterials, even use it in mind reading acts and stuff. But anyway, it's a material that'll bend light around an object. Could you use it to hide the moon if you wanted to, and it would show all the scenery minus the moon or a building or whatever. You could cover a building up with it. Anyway, look on YouTube, Guy Kramer's Hyper Stealth Corp. Anyway, bending light and visibility, nanobots, metamaterial. And you could have a trap door on the top and come up through. Or you could just secretly get inside, and they have wires like Glory Ghost idea to come upward, like, as one magician suggested. I said, oh, like Glory Ghost? He said, yeah, Bill, you could do something like that. Ralph Adams, a Lifetime in Magic video that I got, it talks about that. Another magician suggested the guy in the blue on the far left, looking from our side, that he's kind of ducked down and running fast with a blue outfit on. That could be Copperfield. So either that could be Copperfield, or that guy right there that turns around and looks at the building, comes back around, and he goes to the right and they go to the left. Either way. And I saw helicopters. I'm thinking, they got footage of that. Well, many years later, a building company recorded the news, and they got that footage. But they think that's Copperfield going into the van and going off, and 1 minute before the building implodes, they say, okay, he's out of there, because they see a guy in a black outfit like Copperfield, and dive into an open side door van. They drive away, and they say, okay, he's out of there, and then they implode the building. And then he comes up through the steel platform at a different angle even. And some girls said in comments that they were at an angle, that they video recorded Copperfield coming up through a trap door up through the sheet. They were at the angle, they could see it. Alright. You could hear the crew people say, great trick, we don't know how you did it.
You go to the bathroom?
No, I'm alright.
Do you bathroom?
And the safe doing the tumbling, that's Christopher Hart. He doubles in Copperfield eluding, including he doubles in Copperfield stage eluding, including the first part of the wall. But there's a switch. But for here, some people say it's a pre-recorded video, but I'm thinking no. I'm thinking that footage is still live, but there's a duplicate safe somewhere in the Charlotte Hotel building where they're doing it, it's tumbling and all that stuff. At first you see a hand come in and pull on a chain. That's Christopher Hart illusionist. He doubles and covers illusions. And he also plays the hand in the Addams Family, the movies. and he invented the zombie hand routine, like the zombie ball. You had to watch his act, Christopher Hart Losing Us. Anyway, and then when you see the chains move up and down, when you don't see a hand in there, that's wires moving up and down. And then when the building implodes, Christopher Hart is escaped into the van, but the news guy thinks that's Copperfield. At first I thought, okay, they're right, but then you just helped me realize, I know, that's Christopher Hart. He doubles in Copperfield switcheroos. So the misdirection, time misdirection, isolation of perspective view, as Franz Roy says, and Lance Burton too, and even Copperfield and Franz Roy and all them, the basic idea, and Jeff McBride and all them, they either that's Copperfield or the guy in the blue outfit, one of the two, but they think that's Copperfield diving into this van and going, he's out of there, and that's 1 minute before the building implodes. And then he appears on the steel platform, and they go, great trick, we don't know how you did it. There's two safes, one with where Copperfield is in, and he gets out the back of it, and probably slides down a safety tube chute like you see that the firemen use to get people out quick. And then he mingles in with the rest of the crowd. And the one you're watching the video of, that's where the misdirection is. You're watching that, and Copperfield and his lookalike Christopher Hart in a duplicate safe has done left the building, and you're watching that safe tumble. Meanwhile, he's got lots of time to come up on that thin steel platform that didn't have a mirror or a glass that bends light around it at first, but they done slid it in while you're watching all that. Okay, go back. See, they're inspecting it. Kind of stands for K for Kotkan. David said Kotkan, but it stands for something else on that safe. Anyway, Copperfield said that the only thing that survived was the door of the safe. He done slipped out of the handcuffs. It's probably handcuffs you can hit a lever, or it's jimmy rigged where even though you lock it, you can slide the teeth out, or you could shimmy it by the teeth and get out quick after you pick double lock. See, he got the key when he closed the CD or DVD. It shot the key or pick into his hand. See, Copperfield is done made his escape by now. The camera's at an angle. See? And he's going to switch places with that guy with that hat. Or he's going to be one of the guy in the blue outfit, as one magician mentioned in comments. And what you're watching now is a live feed of a camera set up with a second safe somewhere in Charlotte Hotel building you see, you think it's Copperfield coming out and pulling the lock closer so he can pick it and all that stuff and move the tumblers and all that. That's Christopher Hart Illusionist playing that part in somewhere in the Charlotte Hotel in a second safe moving the tumblers. Whereas all this going on, you're not watching all this. See the guy with the white helmet? See they're doing all this? He pauses and then Copperfield now takes his place. He was behind the cameraman. And he's turning around looking at the building and come back around. Now someone mentioned there's a guy in a blue suit. That could be Copperfield too. That looks like him too. That guy over there. Right there. That could be Copperfield too. But that could be Copperfield. Any way you want to do it will work. See, that's Christopher Hart somewhere in the Charlotte Hotel in a second safe pulling in the hand. His hands look like Copperfield. You see, Copperfield's going this way. And he's getting ready to do the Clark Kent Superman switcheroo. He's going to change from Clark Kent to Superman. Now, people are focusing on the safe. You got to admit, this is real hard work, and you only get one take because you can only blow a building up one time. So you got to rehearse it before you do the real deal. So now they got the mirrors or glass that bends light underneath there, a roller shade mirror or whatever. And then Copperfield will come up through a trap door or just get up onto the top of the steel platform and get underneath the sheet and come upward like a Glorpy ghost idea. The mirrors or glass reflect the background of the square street and the men's sawhorses. Well, you get the idea. And you got both the police light and the ambulance lights flickering, so it'll look like the same lighting on each side. And the sawhorses are that way too. And he comes up. He's going to make sure the trap door is in place when he moves his feet around. He says, yep, it's solid. And see all that running? You can see he's still breathing. High five, everybody. High five. Good job, everybody. Good job. Now let's find what I'm talking about. Charlotte Hotel. If they still have it up. Charlotte Hotel building. Building. I can't even spell building right. There it is, building. Let's see if I know what I'm looking for when I find it. Well, I can't find it. I'll be forever finding it that way. Charlotte Hotel building implosion, maybe. Implosion or something like that. Well, I thought I could find it. It's a picture of a lady. I know it's in here. They keep their stuff in. If I knew the name of that YouTube channel, I could find it quicker. T. Scott Berry, what we're running to the Charlotte Hotel building. Maybe not spelling building right. B-U-I. Okay, I forgot an L. Maybe that's why. But it still didn't do it. It's a lady. It's giving me everything about buildings. Maybe Charlotte has 2 L's. I'm going to have to find it later, man. Give me a break. News. Charlotte Hotel implodes. Implodes. I don't know how you say it. There it is. I had to say the word news. Hotel Charlotte. See that lady right there. And the company is D.H. Griffin Companies. It's probably because they did the work. Be my guess. I want to get to the secret part of it. Because it'll go everybody talking about how they grew up there and all that.
It was awesome. Wide-eyed looks on.
That was pretty cool. I like that.
Question, how you gonna get this stuff out of here?
Cloud. When the smoke cleared, here's what remained.
It's going to miss my David Copperfield.
Trade Street. The building's closest
In here somewhere.
All construction glass. It's about 16% of the limit here in North Carolina.
It was hauled away. Hotel Charlotte will
There, that's what we want right there.
desk. And while it was
Somewhere
a
in
new
there.
experience for many Charlotteans, it's over. And when the last brick is hauled away, Hotel Charlotte will be erased from uptown forever. Lori Arrington, News 36.
As we've been hearing over the past week or so, magician David Copperfield used the implosion as a backdrop for a special trick. Now, here's what we found out.
Copperfield sharing chocolate with his crew. That's nice. His losing crew helpers.
And given only 20 seconds before the explosion to escape. But our cameras caught him leaving the building, running about a minute.
See, that's Christopher Hart leaving from the second safe and getting into the open side van and driving off, but they think that's Copperfield. Copperfield is getting ready to appear after the 1 minute mark. See, Copperfield's making an appearance. I'm going to say, great trick. We didn't see anything.
You'll see it all on a television special sometime this spring.
Now, you were down there today. What did that feel like?
Dusty.
Very dusty.
Then in an isolated area, Copperfield does some last-minute planning. We hear he wants the illusion of being locked into a trunk inside the hotel, and given only 20 seconds before the explosion to escape. But our cameras caught him leaving the building, running about a minute before the explosion. You see him here in the lower right. Now listen to his crews talking on the two-way radios.
Keep the safe in, Larry. It looks good. You look good. Let me see your watch, please.
See that black? By the time they do that, they done move the black cloth off the steel and put the orange parachute with a black X on it.
Then in an isolated area far away from the hotel, long after the danger passed,
See, he's coming up through a trap door.
he comes up with a blanket. You see him here in the lower right. Now listen to his crews talking on the two-way
He-
radios.
Christopher Hart illusion is diving into the He looks like Copperfield because he's wearing the same black outfit.
Inside the hotel, and given only 20 seconds before the explosion to escape.
And he just got done coming from the second safe
About a minute before
that was in the other building somewhere.
you see him here on the lower right. Now listen to his crews talking on the two-way radios.
Keep the safe in, Larry. Looks good. You look good. Let me see your wife.
Now Copperfield's going to appear
And beat it out of that.
after the 1 minute mark.
Then in an
See, he's coming upward.
hotel long after the danger passed, sometime
I'm going to say, great trick. We didn't see anything.
You'll see it all on a television special sometime this spring.
Now, you were down there today. What did that feel like?
Dusty. Very dusty. It is one of the most shocking things you ever see.
That's why you had to go home and take a shower.
Yeah, matter of fact, it's just incredibly dirty down there.
You know, Jim Selene, our sports guy, said earlier this week, he said they may call that thing an implosion, but that was a heck of an explosion.
You know, and we'll be hearing more about that. Well, other news making news tonight. Several York County women led a rally.
Now listen to his crews talking on the two-way radios.
Keep the safe in, Larry. Looks good. You look.
See, the news people think that's Copperfield. That's the misdirection. Copperfield's done either disappeared as the guy in the blue outfit or the guy with the white helmet, changed from Clark Kent to Superman. But that guy you see go in, they think that's Copperfield. That's the perfect illusion. It's very clever. They think that's him, but that's really Christopher Hart illusionist. Look him up. He doubles in Copperfield's illusions, including the motorcycle and the fan, and there's been other people that played the switcheroo for the fan when Christopher Hart is doing his own illusion show or whatever. Anyway, and playing the hint thing on the Addams Family, the hand. Christopher Hart gets out of the second safe that's somewhere in this building safely that is filming live footage, and he comes down, he jumps in, and they drive off and out of the way because he was in the second safe, but people think that was a pre-recording of Copperfield getting out of the safe before they imploded it, but that's not the case. Copperfield likes to do things live all the way. So, a second safe is in somewhere in there. The first safe, that's the reason why they mentioned that the video and the live safe don't seem to match. That's because the one in there is not as duplicate policeman with Christopher Hart with that one, and then the one that we're seeing at first, Copperfield gets in and gets out, and those are the first set of cops. Well, if you get what I'm trying to say, like a duplicate ring of lights and have everybody over there, or a tank and have everybody move over there, however you want to do it, or duplicate people over there that looks like the first people over here. Just have lookalikes on this side and lookalikes on this side, twins and lookalikes and doubles, like the Double Mint commercial or whatever. The first fall is this kid swinging a rope and lands into the water. It was taken from the Fort Falls at the Wilds Christian camp. Alright. I think you understand what I'm trying to say. I think I've seen a special with Chris Angel called Las Vegas, where he did a short version of walking in the swimming pool, and he did like staying in a coffin for a long time. But the trick was there was 2 different coffins in 2 different locations. Anyway.
Good. Let me see your wife, please. And
See, we're getting a different angle. The CBS version, the camera moves that direction. But for practice runs, well, not practice run, the building just imploded. But this angle, you can see Khufu coming up through the trap door and coming up there like a glory ghost idea. And the mirrors are right there to reflect the road perfectly. And see, it's square. And at certain points you see it rectangle. So it's probably the way the camera lens is. But the thing is, you got to give Khufu and his Illusion crew credit, and all the people behind the scenes. They really do a good job at what they do. And when they do the moon vanish, that everybody's wondering what's going on with the moon on TikTok and everybody, I got to explain about that. I said it's under code 7 methods. That's why Khufu said he's got many methods. Khufu's probably even come across his own ideas after learning under code's ideas. Anyway, and he probably thought of ideas, and then when Undercode gave his, he probably got thought even more. Anyway, that's why Khufu says he's got many ideas. Anyway, there's a lot of ways to make the moon disappear. And if you watch my YouTube channel, you hear me talking about a lot of ways. But also you could do Miles Pitwell's idea, use Elon Musk's 60-something Starlink, wireless Starlink satellites to block the light from the sun going to the moon and reverse and bring it back. This science lady named Ashley, she says she's a magic geek or magic nerd, whatever. She says on TikTok you could use a foil mirror a foil mirror in outer space satellite idea, and Bob Schofield, church member, KTM motocross biker sponsored by Honda, as a teenager, illusion magician, born-again Christian, brother in Christ, friend since 1980s on up at Good News Baptist Church. He said a foil mirror too. Great minds think alike. He said you could also be a large solar panel to do the same way. And Kenny Rock said, oh, that's easy, just reflect the dark side of the moon to the front of the moon. And that would work, Kenny. And Bob Schofield said something similar to Kenny Rock, but it's the same thing. Use Elon Musk flying drones and reflect mirrors of the dark side into the front of the moon. I think that's what Kenny Rock meant, but Bob went in more detail like I do. And Mike Rock said, well, whatever he uses, it's going to be high-tech and it's going to be an illusion. Yep, Mike Rock, you're right, illusion. Mike Rock is Kenny Rock's brother. Anyway, and Tommy says, use like Star Trek, a beam of black laser on it. And I'm saying you could use a Vanta Black shadow projector to beam onto the moon and reverse to bring the moon back. No, I'm not talking about that band. So you're messing my video up. And Dave Duncan, Drew Duncan said, well, use your idea, Bill, but use a cloaking clear military balloon high in the atmosphere and beam a Vanta Black shadow laser onto the moon, reverse to bring the moon back. And some say use a Lazy Susan turntable, or rotate. Jason Parker Magic said you could rotate, put the Earth on a Lazy Susan turntable. Walla, Ula, Muno, Gano. And Sean Parker said he's just going to snap his fingers and the moon's going to disappear. He's that good. But if you watch everybody on TikTok saying, look up the word the moon vanished, or the moon vanished right before my eyes, or why did the moon just disappear, or the moon just vanished right in front of my eyes, or what's happening with the moon that keeps disappearing and reappearing. Look on YouTube, the same thing. Or the original disappearing, reappearing moon. You look on YouTube, and mine is, look up at Bill Green 4003, all lowercase, and put the numbers 4003 with it, at Bill Green 4003, and then search or look for 3 zeros, number 76, and then type in moon shapes in the sky, Copperfield. Already I got 1,000 and something views. I'm blown away on that. First I start doing my theories, and then I see Copper and the Crew actually really doing it. It's very high tech, like Mike Rock and Kenny Rock and everybody says. Anyway, action.
Then in an isolated area far away from the hotel, long after the danger passed, sometime after the explosion, he comes up from the blanket. You'll see it all on a television special sometime this spring.
Now, you were down there today. What did that feel like? Dusty. Very dusty. It is one of the most shocking things you'll ever see.
That's right. You had to go home and take a shower.
Yeah. Matter of fact, it's just incredibly dirty down there.
You know, Jim Selene, our sports guy, said earlier this week, he says they may call that thing an implosion, but that was a heck of an explosion.
We'll be hearing more about that. So, other news making news tonight. Several York County women led a rally today to protest the Democratic candidate for York County Sheriff. During the rally, the Committee for Fair Treatment asked Joe Mitchell
I go in detail on comment.
what they say are insensitive remarks about women. During a radio interview last week, Mitchell expressed his view that women are inferior to men. He also
Look up D.H. Griffin Companies. At D.H. Griffin Companies, we are a vertically intricate group of companies that provide contract demolition and stuff. You hit the word more, you'll see more. See? It talks about more. We are a vertically integrated group of companies that provides contract demolition in format, has grown over years, network, 1,000 employees. Well, anyway, check their stuff out. It's real good. Another thing that someone hasn't tackled, I mentioned in comments, but it's where Copper disappears on a platform with ladies holding the sheet, and then the camera keeps moving without stopping, and you see someone waving at the top of the torch. It's Copperfield. Well, Copperfield went into the hollow stairs and stayed there. Who you're seeing with all the lighting is Christopher Hart, that looks like Copperfield waving at the torch. It's a pretty neat idea. Everybody reveals the Statue of Liberty, lays it on a turntable, raises it up higher, black art lighting, turning the lights off on the statue. I suggested they add the purple lights to it. Vanta Black absorbs the most light. That'd be the pitch is dark. And then someone mentioned Robert King, or King Robert, in comments said that those helicopters, he says it's very ingenious, and other people said it's ingenious, and I agree that those helicopters that were there were enough to give a vibration. So the audience thinks that that's the vibration of the helicopters, when really it's the vibration of the large lazy center turntable that Copper and his crew tried to use silent ball bearings. They might have used those too, but they didn't move the statue but so far. I mean the statue, the audience on the turntable but so far. And the helicopter, Pan Am helicopter, was moved with the turntable, so when they dropped the sheet, they would see the helicopter still there, and they were looking out into the emptiness, and then a duplicate ring of lights not too far from the statue, and another helicopter was filming the other helicopter circling around it with the searchlights. And someone said, which makes sense too, the spotlights on the helicopter also help to make perfect darkness to night blind the audience. The generistic lights on the towers that night blind the audience. It makes it hard to see a now darkened statue. And it was done in 1983. And Kickbusters is like Trickbusters in a way, but two different people, but both go in detail. Trickbusters Copperfield said that they put a tree or a bush, and they put a bush there to hide movement, but if you look you can see movement a little bit. And they also mentioned that's why the sheet only dropped about halfway, so it would hide viewpoints of locations. And searchlights aimed towards the duplicate ring of lights minus the Statue of Liberty. And one magician, Chinese magician, Japan or China, they think, like Ron Troy Santa Fe Hotel, raise the platform higher up. And that way the sun meets the horizon to make the statue disappear. And I was thinking you can make the ring of lights and at an angle around the statue, and it would be so bright you wouldn't know. And Copper said nobody mentioned about the guy at the duplicate, we didn't say duplicate ring of lights, the person at the ring of lights. There's a guy walking all around inside those ring of lights, and he's right, I didn't notice it either. Copper said that's one thing the audience didn't mention. And I said, yep, you're right, Copperville, you got a point. Sure enough, there's a guy walking all around those ring of lights. But anyway, but I also noticed, and someone else noticed, or they read my comment, one of the two, I don't know. Great minds think alike. Yeah, the sun, like a sundial effect. There's lights that reflect on the black rim of the radar, and it works like a sundial effect. You can see camera movement going back and forth. Lance Burton did the same concept for the B-2 Stealth Spirit bomber Vantage in broad daylight. He just showed you could do it in daytime too if you got it right. Anyway, and then Valentino and Montana Masked Magician showed you could do the same thing, maybe not a turntable, but just use it on a train track and move to a new location